Hey, everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 48. We are now in the playoffs for the NFL. Thanks for watching, subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I know we have viewers that aren't subscribed that are watching. So come on,
How many
like and
viewers do
subscribe.
we have?
What's funny is what happens is our videos that are 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old get views. And then it just catches up. It's like a rolling cycle.
They're like, oh, these people actually know how to pick games.
Right. They
Maybe
know
I
what they're
need to.
talking about. So they're
Yeah.
watching our old stuff
Steve,
and
Steve
then
and
it's
Derek
coming
know
to
how
me.
to pick games. I think I blew the. I think I blew
Well,
it. That was
obviously
pretty brutal.
last week
I
Wes
got the
was not
Broncos.
good.
So did I.
So did Derek, which
Oh,
that
cheater,
was
Derek.
Derek's win game. So Derek wins the season. So we'll comes back
What?
in the last 2 weeks. Derek wins
Back
by
up.
one.
Back up. He beat you.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, technically not because if we're gonna talk about Hamlin game, I mean I won that one. So
That
Derek,
wasn't.
did you actually win?
yep,
Yeah.
yep. So
There you
Derek ends
go.
up the big smooth ends up a
The
one
big
game
smooth
lead.
win.
So I think your record would be 169 and 101, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I was 168 and 102, Derek was 169 and 101.
wow, you won by one game.
Yep.
And then I
Pulls it
beat you
out.
in fantasy football.
Well, I mean, legitimately, like we both lost fantasy football, so
I know. Yeah.
I didn't even change my team because we were playing for third and fourth. Like
Right.
who cares about third and fourth?
And then I picked Georgia to win it all.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think we
geez.
all picked Georgia to win it all.
You
So,
picked you
We
picked
we we we
Michigan.
might have to
no,
talk
well,
about that.
I mean, in the championship game, right? So,
Yeah, but I picked them before the
Doesn't
playoffs
beat
started.
right.
them.
So
Okay.
let's talk about the Georgia game here for a
Yeah.
second before we jump into NFL and before we jump into Georgia game, HSC Podcast, Fantasy Football League, Mike Knight, Holly's dad, wins it all.
What?
We lost to Holly's dad.
Well,
Oh, geez.
do we know for sure? Because doesn't I can't remember who's
Well, he beat Josh,
Josh.
and yeah, he beat
Didn't
Josh
he
in the
have like
championship.
Joe Burrow or something? Or
No, he had a lot of points on him. It wasn't even close. I just looked at it here. We'll go back to it. Let me check it real quick because when I looked at it, it wasn't even close.
Wow.
Oh, it looks like hey, you finished fourth. Thanks. Top scorer in the league finishes fourth. Yeah, let's see here. Before we jump into this, we gotta give credit where credit is due. Yeah, he won. So final standings team night.
well, though, did Josh have any Bengals or Buffalo Bills?
That's great.
Well, he did in that previous week. Yeah,
So he lost points there.
he did. He did lose points there, but Mike had beat him by like 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, even if Joe Burrow had to put up like 50 to beat him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we lost Holly's dad. I'm never gonna hear the end of this.
Well, you know why? Jalen Hurts gets hurt.
Oh,
Right.
jeez.
Jonathan Taylor gets hurt.
Mm.
Damian Pierce gets hurt. All at the very end of the season. So when I played Holly's dad, I had my three top scorers weren't playing.
Right.
That's what's up with the playoff with fantasy football. You just don't know. And
That's what happens.
like with you, if you would have made it to the finals, they sat Derrick Henry for a game.
Right. Well, and it's the same thing. It's like, look, I'm in both of the leagues we played in, I was the top scorer in the regular season for both leagues we played in.
Yeah.
And both leagues, I finished fourth.
Yeah.
That's the way fantasy football works,
Yeah.
So you can draft a great team, you can make all the right moves, you can get to the playoffs, and then you get screwed in the end. But that's fine. So Georgia TCU game. So first of all, the first thing I want to talk about is I've seen a lot of people are upset that Georgia ran up the score.
What? The
Put their
fuck, dude?
backups in?
All right.
Wait, hold on, back up. They're upset
Yeah.
that they put in their backup. I mean, they put in their backups in early third quarter.
Well, the only thing I can see was when they went for it on fourth down.
Right. Like they went for it on fourth down.
Who's
You're up
up?
That's
40
the only
points.
thing. Other than that, they basically just ran it down their throats.
Right. Although they threw the ball a little bit at the end.
I hate to break this to everybody, but Georgia, I mean, I remember watching the U back in the day, and we all know the U. I mean, but we were really young.
Nebraska.
We weren't watching all the players top to bottom when we were kids. We were young.
Right.
But honestly, Georgia's probably the best team I've ever seen, college football wise. I mean, that team is fucking loaded.
Their backups were better than TCU starters.
Look at their running backs.
Dude, that guy was killing it.
Dude,
are you going to say they're better than LSU?
Huh?
You're going to say they're better than LSU?
I think what he's saying is top to bottom.
I'm talking top to bottom.
Right.
They're better than everybody.
LSU starters, I think, was one of the best teams.
Yeah. If you look at Georgia's running back, just look at their running backs: McIntosh, Milton, and Edwards. I mean,
but you could say that about Alabama teams.
Well, of course you can, but name the players.
Well, okay, like you had when you had Jacobs and Derrick Henry were on the same team together. I mean, the top two rushers in the NFL were on the same team together. Right. And then I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, there was other Alabama running backs there.
I'm just saying overall.
Yeah.
It's a pretty freaking
I mean, I see what you're saying, because when they put in their backups, I felt like their backups were playing just as well as their starters against TCU starters.
Right. And it would have been cool to I was rooting for them to get to 7. You might as well,
But we got.
I kind of wanted to see them run up the score. Maybe that's just me.
We got to pump the brakes on the Georgia's the greatest team ever thing, because if they don't hurt 3 wide receivers, they don't win a national championship.
I mean, that's definitely a narrative I saw out there, because you're talking about Jamison Williams, 2 years ago, or the last, and then you're talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. in the Ohio State game.
Well, Mechie got hurt in the SEC championship game against
right.
Georgia also. So that's 3 NFL wide receivers and the way Marvin Harrison Jr. was playing, Ohio State probably would have won. Same with Jamison Williams. He was tearing up Georgia too.
Well, I mean, Ohio State had a chance to win the game. Yeah. They just missed the field goal. I mean, it's obvious that it should have been Ohio State, Georgia in the championship.
Yeah, but Ohio State can't be losing to Michigan big.
Right. Which is why, I mean, Michigan, that's why I thought Michigan looked good. But, also, if they had, Corum in there, that's a whole different ball game too. You're talking about injuries. Everybody has injuries. It happens. Right. So where would Michigan be? Because Corum's a beast.
Yeah, Georgia didn't have any injuries, though, the last 2 years.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that helps, right? So you stay injury free. But they're very deep. The one thing about Georgia right now is they're super deep. They do have a deep team. Watching some of those freshmen that came in, you almost look at them next year is this a three-peat?
Well, Bennett's gone.
Yeah, but that guy, I mean, they got a good guy coming in, right? And they have a really good running back, dude. That guy was a beast.
We say that a lot though. It's different in college. You need like a game manager that knows what they're doing.
Right.
And like that's what's the funny thing is we talk about how talented this Georgia team is, but Bennett was like a walk-on. And he left to go to junior college and then came back. He's
So
25.
so let's talk about next year. Knowing what we know right now, obviously transfer portal is happening, but who are the favorites in college football next year?
Well, someone from the
USC,
SEC.
Caleb Williams coming back, right?
Yeah.
So USC looks good.
Oregon State's got the DJ.
Yeah.
Can't really pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
From Clemson. But
Not gonna work here anymore.
Yeah. Alabama's going to be good. Georgia still will be good. Ohio State will still be good. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. coming back.
But Stroud's leaving.
Yeah. They probably got someone else behind him, right?
But at least Georgia, like they got a chance to show what they had,
Yeah. But that was against a TCU team that had given up.
How brutal is that for non-SEC teams to see a team go to the championship and just get dominated like that?
Yeah.
I mean, that hurts, right? That hurts for not just Big 12, like Pac-12, Big 10. It's like, man, you're going to go and just get just annihilated in the championship game. And you showed that statistic earlier, Derek, where it was like how many SEC teams, and not just the same team, like a bunch of since the BCS era, how many different SEC teams have been in the championship? It's like 21 to like what 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
For the next closest, and it's not the same team over and over again. There was what 6 or 7 SEC teams.
Yeah, and they all won championships.
Right. So it really seems like an SEC league, right? So college football is an SEC league.
I'm counting all the NFL players on the 2016 Alabama team. I'm up to 30 right now.
Didn't we talk about this one time where we still found that what was it, LSU had the most pros?
This is one team from one season.
Right. Yeah, but I'm just saying overall, wasn't it like LSU in the last 20 years?
Right, with the recruits.
Yeah.
They had on the Alabama team in 2016, they had 40 NFL players.
Jeez. Well, that got drafted or that are still in the NFL right now?
They're still in the NFL right now.
Wow. So maybe Alabama could have beat the Texans.
The only issue was
or the Bears.
The quarterback was just Jalen Hurts. That just doesn't seem right. Oh, well. Did Jalen Hurts start as a freshman?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Well, because that was what weird what happened was like he started, he played 2 years, whatever, and then Tua took over, and then he transferred.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Jalen Hurts had more progression than any college quarterback I've ever seen.
Well, it was just he went from
to the NFL.
Being a running quarterback, and then he got with Lincoln Riley, who got him some passing.
When you think about progression, though, from when you're a college quarterback to what you're doing now in the NFL, I don't know that I can name a quarterback that's progressed more than Jalen Hurts.
Right. The only one would have been if he didn't get so many concussions. We'd have to see what happened with Tua. Because the games Tua was healthy, he was playing really good.
Yeah.
Had put up huge numbers.
But he also had a strong college, like he was good in college,
Right.
like he was
Mhm.
strong. You never was like, wow, Tua's bad. He has to transfer. He's going down to second team.
Right.
Where
Well, Hurts didn't
Hurts,
have to. I mean, it wasn't because he was bad. It was just because,
Tua's better.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So okay. Yeah, college football is going to be interesting next year. Can't wait to see that. Let's talk a little bit about draft picks. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. So Bears fall into the number one draft pick, right? I've
Got to
heard
trade
this
him.
so many places. Well, now they're talking about trade Fields, draft Bryce Young. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I kind of feel like it's not quarterback is not the problem. And they have so many holes. They're in the most opportune situation to be set up for a while with the number one pick. Because somebody's going to be stupid enough to give them a bunch of stuff, right?
Right. I mean, Indianapolis is already talking about a bunch of picks, Michael Pittman Jr., and like four or five picks.
Yeah. I mean, just to move down to the 4 spot, right? Which is,
Right.
you still get either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter.
Yeah, because they want Bryce Young.
Who does?
Indianapolis.
Well, I mean,
Unless they trade for Derek Carr.
well, I mean, that's the whole thing is now that you got Derek Carr, it's like the Raiders can trade him to the Texans for the second pick.
Well, I heard someone say it, and I don't know, it's not like but their idea was to swap 4 for 6 and give the Colts Carr. You know what I mean?
So you move up 2 spots
Yeah.
and you get Carr?
Well, no, the Carr goes to the Colts at the 4
Oh,
spot.
right.
And then the Colts get the 6th and Carr.
Right.
I know, the Raiders might get like a 4th, something else.
They got
to
to add something into that because that doesn't seem fair. Like,
so then but even in that, I have been super surprised. I've seen them staying at 7 and still getting Stroud, which I think is ridiculous. I think
No,
Levis, Stroud, and Young will be gone before.
no, Stroud should be he should be gone by 7. I mean, the Colts should. I mean, if the Colts are at 4, I mean, why wouldn't you pick fucking Stroud?
right.
Because they got the great white hope Will Levis there.
Yeah.
Really?
So, but just as an interesting thought process, think about this, right? So you have the number one pick, Bears, and you're picking Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, doesn't matter. I think they're the same. Now you trade Justin Fields.
You're
What do
not
you
getting
get
a
for?
first for him.
You don't think you're getting a first for Fields?
No, because they're going to be like, we already, it's kind of like in the same thing with Carr now. It's like, why should we trade a bunch of capital for a guy that's going to get released? Whereas Fields is like, why should we trade, when we know you're taking a quarterback?
Well, the thing is
but doesn't Tampa, the Jets?
Well, the same thing, like that might be, but the same thing happened. Think about it. Already happened once. The Cardinals, and I know he's no Fields, but Josh Rosen, right? They drafted Rosen.
You have to bring up Josh Rosen.
Did you just say Josh Rosen?
I'm saying what happened was.
No, I know.
They drafted a quarterback the year before, so it's only been 1 year, and they trade him and then draft Kyler Murray. I don't think they got a first for Rosen. And the problem was Rosen was still unproven. He was only 1 year, so you couldn't really know for sure that he's going to be a bust.
This is the question I was going to ask you guys earlier because I wasn't quite sure. Now, do all trades have to be approved by the NFL? Like, let's say they had a multi-team deal. Does it have to be approved? Does someone have to sign off?
I think every trade has to be approved. Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah, but it's not like they can weigh in on it. They just approve it.
Because honestly, there can be some crazy stuff going down because you got Aaron Rodgers wants to be traded. You got Derek Carr. Derek Carr's gonna be traded.
No, he's gone for sure.
He's gone.
He already did his goodbye thing.
Right.
He already did it.
Well, and Tom Brady. Tom Brady's moving.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, he's a free agent though.
Yeah, he's more a free agent. And then you have the fucking Zach Wilson. I mean, and then now everyone's saying that Lamar Jackson wants to go to the Jets. Just want Lamar Jackson. Dude,
well, Lamar Jackson wants Deshaun Watson money. Guaranteed money.
Yeah, it's stupid. I mean,
he's going to get it. He's going to get it.
He's going to get it.
Are you kidding me?
Choice. Because if you're going to give Deshaun Watson that, why wouldn't you give Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, exactly. You're telling me you're not going to pay Lamar Jackson?
Yeah. But
any team would pay Lamar Jackson.
But the Ravens aren't going to pay him, I don't think. I think they're going to trade him.
I don't think Lamar wants to play for the Ravens because of the way they treated him.
Well, you know what it is? They're not going to trade him because he's Kirk Cousins. They still got
right.
2 more franchises on him, right?
Right. Let's get franchise tag him twice.
Well, they could franchise.
Yep. Yeah.
And then what also, because they were bringing this up, and Lamar Jackson's missed 10 games the last 2 years.
Oh yeah.
And we know what happens when you're a quarterback and you miss games. We're going to be picking Bengals Ravens here, and I doubt any of us are giving the Ravens a chance with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. Now, if it's going to be the same team that was Lamar Jackson, then it might be, I don't know here. It's Lamar Jackson. Same goes for the Dolphins. No one's going to give Skylar Thompson a chance.
No.
Bills.
Yeah. Not against the Bills like that.
I think this is the most moving parts, though, at quarterback that we've seen in a long time.
Well, and you'll know Carr will be like Stafford and Alex Smith. You'll know by the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah. Carr will be the first one I think you'll know.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is tradable or free agents, things like that.
Well, technically, they can make this easy. The Raiders can make this easy and say, you know what? Texans will give you Derek Carr for the second pick.
So where does Carr land then? What are you guys' thoughts?
Well, he also gets to pick.
Texans?
No, he's not going to go to the Texans.
But I think the Jets are the most realistic, or even the Dolphins.
Is Carr a New York guy? Can Carr survive in New York?
No, he's not.
Although So I listened to a Raider podcast, and one of the guys lives in New York, and they were talking about that, and they're saying all the media people are clamoring for Carr.
Yeah,
because look at the Jets. When was the last time they had a decent quarterback? Right?
Never.
If they actually
name a good Jets quarterback, and don't say Joe Namath because he's trash.
Yeah.
What? It's Broadway Joe, man.
He was trash. Buddy Ryan was that.
I know.
The only one, and he was decent, and injuries hurt him, was Chad Pennington.
Yeah, I mean,
but
he didn't have the arm. Vinny, the colorblind man. Pennington just didn't have the arm. Like he was very accurate. Like he threw a good ball. But he didn't have the NFL arm for sure.
And I'm pretty sure that's, like you said, like Ken O'Brien.
Right.
Ken O'Brien was good.
Think about that. They could have
picked him over Dan Marino. Like, who do you want? You want Ken O'Brien? You want Dan Marino? Let's go with Ken O'Brien.
That's not fair.
I mean, that's legit true. What happened.
I'm pretty well. It's kind of interesting, but besides the Bears, have the Jets, because the Bears, you could say, have never had a good quarterback either.
No,
besides,
ever like Sid Luckman,
back
in like the
they had some good quarterbacks in the 70s. The team was terrible.
Yeah, Vince Evans,
Douglas or Bobby Douglas was really good
because everybody heard of him.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Bears have never had a good quarterback. We know that.
Now I got to find out who's the best Jets quarterback of all time here.
I
There
don't
you go.
believe.
Fucking
I mean,
Broadway Joe.
it's obviously they're going to say Namath, but when you look at
Namath.
statistically, Namath was not a good quarterback.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't that good. No.
No.
Yeah. The top 5 are, well, and I think these are the 5, were Namath, Testaverde, Pennington, Sanchez, and Ken O'Brien.
Sanchez.
Sanchez went to 2 conference finals, though.
At this point, it looks like Geno Smith might have been one of the best quarterbacks they had.
Actually, you know who it was? It was Brett Favre.
Yeah,
well,
right.
But see, that's why I think it's possible that if you did a multi-team trade and you trade Derek Carr to the Jets,
do you get their number one pick?
Realistic.
Did the Jets give up their number 1 pick for Carr?
Well, if there's other teams that want him.
But here's the thing.
That's a stretch to me. I don't know that the Jets give up
how
their
much
number 1
did
pick for
the
Carr.
Rams give up for Stafford?
Because the Jets are they understand about having bad quarterbacks. So I don't think they're willing to give up their pick for Carr.
But everybody's saying Lamar Jackson's going to the Jets.
No,
I think
Baltimore franchise tags him. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Because I mean, they're not going to rebuild because they would have to rebuild in the.
Well,
they would need a top 5 pick.
This is the only reason I say that is if you did a multi-team trade, the Ravens could have the first pick in the draft. The Bears would get like 3 first-round picks from 3 different teams. It would have to be a multi-team thing.
If I'm the Ravens, though, I keep Lamar for another year, and then if you want to trade him for the number 1 pick, you do.
Oh yeah, they can.
Because then you got Greg May and Caleb Williams, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because
maybe they want CJ Stroud.
So the other thing I heard was Carr to Tampa.
Yeah.
So I actually think that's a good landing place for Carr.
Right. Because they know Brady's going to be gone. You bring in Carr, he's got
weapons, right? You're bringing him in with weapons, and you're bringing a seasoned quarterback.
Is horrible.
You're bringing him to a terrible division.
Well, and here, I think the big thing everyone needs to realize is Carr gets to pick. Like, he's not going to go to the Texans because it's dysfunctional.
Yeah.
He's not going to go to a place that's a dysfunctional place. He's already had it in the Raiders.
And Texans are going to draft Stroud or Young. They're going to draft one of the 2. It doesn't matter.
Or Levis.
I mean, maybe they do. If they take Levis, I'll be super disappointed. Because if you got the 2nd overall pick, you got to take Stroud or Young, right?
Well, the Bears took Trubisky.
Oh,
well, there
wasn't a lot in that draft, though.
Levis and Trubisky are pretty similar. They both had really good years, but you still don't have much tape on them.
Well, the question is who's going to take Levis?
Trubisky did not have the arm of Levis, though. Yeah. Levis has a great arm.
Zach Wilson.
Right. That's the other problem you run into is Levis is Zach Wilson. That's why I don't think anybody takes Levis in those top 2 quarterbacks. It's got to be Young and Stroud.
I'm sorry. I still think that it's the NFL still has blinders on to black quarterbacks, even though it's not, shouldn't be. But
now it's a racist thing.
No, I'm not saying that. It's a skill set thing.
Yeah,
they're going to be like they see Levis. Well, Bryce Young is too short, right?
He is too short, but
not too short.
He's not short because he's black, though. He's short because he's actually short.
Yeah, but they always look for the intent. They look at the specimen, right? The Zach Wilson or the Trubisky, who are big, strong specimens, right?
Yeah.
And then even think about what Fields dropped, right? Deshaun Watson dropped. Lamar Jackson dropped. We watched those guys in college and we're like, Patrick Mahomes, why are these guys not like the 1st or 2nd pick, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you like actually make an argument for that because it's impossible to know like what is that thought process, right?
Well, I'm
But
just
I
looking.
mean, of course you can say it,
Well,
um,
I'm not like trying to be racist. I'm just trying to say maybe they have blinders on.
yeah,
They look at like Levis or whatever, and they're like, "Ooh, look at his arm," and da da da
right,
da.
right. But
Not
I
looking
think
at not looking at the body of work, looking at what could be.
so. I don't. I think that's more of a historical quarterback tendency thing, right? It's because that's what historically you've looked for in a quarterback, and they have a hard time getting away from that,
Right.
right? They have a hard time saying we don't want the 6'2", 6'3", 6'5" quarterback with the big arm, to drop back in the pocket in a 5-7 step drop and throw the ball. So I think I agree in the fact that they do have a hard time getting away from that. I don't necessarily agree that might have anything to do with their color. I just think it's a profile of a quarterback that the NFL doesn't understand or the owners don't understand that we just got to get away from that.
Right.
Because
Well,
look at Jalen Hurts, right? Like
yeah.
who would not want him on their team right now?
Well, at the beginning of the year, they were talking about him being gone.
Well,
Um,
yeah, but he's
it
also
all
a short quarterback who can run, who can throw, but he doesn't have that Peyton Manning frame.
well, it all comes down to who your coach is and what
Yeah,
personnel you have around you.
yeah, and what their game plan is, like, which is why they're talking about Chicago, like saying get a Bryce Young, get a CJ Stroud because he fits more
That's going to
into
be
your
their
game plan,
guy.
right? Because Fields ultimately never fit into what they wanted to do. And if you can get a first and a third for Fields, which Indianapolis is already ready to give it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Indianapolis already offered that for Fields.
And Pittman Jr.
Holy crap!
For
So
Fields or for the
yes.
number one pick?
No, they're
Oh,
talking
they
about
want
they're talking
Fields.
about traded up for Fields.
Wow, that's crazy.
I thought you said that they were thinking trading up for Bryce Young and giving the
I don't
fourth
know.
pick and Pittman in a third.
Yeah, so originally they're like, "Hey, could we get, you want to trade for your pick?" And then all this came up with Chicago saying, "What if we trade Fields instead of the first round
Oh,
pick?"
jeez.
So I don't know that Indianapolis is still entertaining that, but that's what Chicago is saying now.
Yeah.
Chicago's thought
If I'm the
process,
Colts, I'm not touching that. I'm not giving up Pittman because you
Yeah.
have nothing else to throw to.
right?
Well, they can always draft. Pittman's good, but he's not.
And I
But
I'm
don't know
not
if I'm
sure
giving up
Jerry
the
Rice
sixth
here.
pick.
what kind of running game you have with Fields and Taylor?
Yeah. If they stay healthy.
It's
Yeah.
Fields. I mean, that's the whole thing. Well, that's another problem too with Fields is what people don't understand is he ran for his life the whole fucking season.
Right.
And he's great. But it has to be more by design. He cannot be running like that. He's gonna end up like Lamar Jackson. He's gonna get hurt. And then you don't have a
But
quarterback.
here's the thing, you
Why would
can't
you
they keep judging his completion percentage. He's not throwing a good completion percentage, but dude,
no.
who's throwing a good completion percentage when you're running around for your life the whole time?
Exactly.
Like you're not going to complete a lot of passes
No,
when
you're not going to.
you have zero time.
Yeah. And you know what? He's great running around for his life. He ran for 1,000 yards, but that's for
My,
his life.
so here's my thought process, right? I would not trade Fields. Fields for me, I would keep him. He's Chicago's quarterback. They should
Yeah.
keep him. I would trade down, obviously, from the number one pick for whatever I can get, for the most picks I can get,
Mhm.
and trade that down. Because here's the thing: Fields, as that line gets better, he has the arm, he has the talent, he gets out of the pocket, he throws on the run. The number one problem is that he has no time, right? So,
They can get 3-1s for the first.
right, that's what I'm saying.
They can get 3 1s, and here's the thing: it could be a multi-team thing. Like this is the thing is we got Aaron Rodgers, we got Derek Carr, we got these guys all want to be they're all going to be traded. This could be something that is a blockbuster trade we've never seen. It's a potential for that to happen because everyone's looking at the Bears and everybody knows the Bears want to trade down. They don't want the number 1 pick. So it's like, who's going to give us the most picks? Probably no team can give them that many picks. It has to be a multi-team deal.
Texans.
Yeah.
The
Texans already have 2, though. It's like
they're already at 2. So why would
I'll be honest with you. I honestly don't believe I see a difference between Stroud and Young.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like I was trying to say last time was I like Young, but I would take either. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Right. Why not? Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
You don't know either of them's going to be good or not. They both have exactly the same. The only difference, Stroud's a little bit taller. But their arms are very similar. They both have great feet. Like, so what's the difference?
Right.
So I can't see the Texans. I don't see why the Texans would trade at all. Like, they take Bryce Young, you take Stroud. They take Stroud, you take Bryce Young. Like, what's the difference?
They're going to take Levis.
I'm pretty sure everyone's going to trade up to try to get Bryce Young.
They do.
I mean, excuse me. They're going to try to get Stroud.
I did see that the Texans really like Levis, which I don't get it, but whatever.
But why would you take Levis at 2?
You're not going to get him at 13.
No.
Yeah.
It's either 2 or nothing, or you trade down to like 6 or whatever.
What I'm saying is, like, they're going to trade. Like, let's say they trade the Raiders.
Here, hold on.
Well, you don't know what's the draft order. So you got the you got the Bears, Texans, Cardinals aren't taking a quarterback.
No.
Colts.
The Colts should take a quarterback.
Seahawks might.
No, the Seahawks should take a quarterback.
Detroit might.
They all will.
So
Detroit might take Levis.
Or Seattle.
Dude, isn't that funny that Detroit and Seattle are that high in the draft?
From the draft, from the people they traded.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, so I mean, in the top 7, besides the Cardinals and the Bears, I think, because I think they stick with Fields, everyone could want a quarterback. Because, like we said, Goff is decent, but they probably draft a quarterback. They could draft a quarterback. Geno Smith's played really well, but they could draft a quarterback.
No, they have to draft a quarterback. Seattle has to draft a quarterback.
Well, I was thinking they might, because they also have. Well, that might be too far back. So I was looking at Richardson for him.
Yeah, and he may not be available, but at the same time, like if you're Seattle, it's time for you to secure a quarterback. Because as well as Geno Smith played, like you have to put somebody in place at this point.
It's the same thing as Goff. Like, does anybody think Goff is the future of the Detroit Lions? He's not.
To be honest with you,
he's all right.
Detroit's hyped on him right now.
Well,
I think Detroit's happy with him right now.
They're happy with him right now, but when there's expectations, just like in Super Bowl, 2009, there's expectations, and you score 3 points, and that's the problem with Jared Goff. When there's expectations.
You almost make the playoffs when you didn't expect to. Goff has one of his best years of his career.
Of course.
They'll have a full-time Jameson Williams next year.
Right. Yeah. He's got all. I don't think Detroit looks for a quarterback for 2 years. I think they give Goff another 2 years.
If I was them, I would go defense. But
right. Yeah, they have to because their defense is horrible.
You're kind of right, Steve, because how can you not? I mean, he played very well this year, but we all know Jared Goff. It's just like, okay, he's got a year. I don't say 2 years. I say he has a year to prove, like, hey, you know what? I can get us the Super Bowl because it's about the Super Bowl. This is a team that's never been in the fucking Super Bowl.
Right.
Well,
Like,
and I mean, it's the same for Seattle. They got Geno Smith right now, and they need defense.
Right. But they had a lot of good young players on
Yeah.
defense that are
Yeah.
going to come up.
Yeah.
And the problem is that if Geno plays well again next year, now you don't get a top pick because you have Denver's pick right now, right? So maybe you make the playoffs again next year and Geno plays well. Now you can't replace him.
Well, you still have Denver's pick too. You have, I think
But
they have Denver's pick next year too.
Denver plays better next year for sure.
We'll see.
I think the Jets they have an immediate need. Jets have to do it. Tampa has to do it, right? Because Brady's going to leave.
What about the Titans?
Titans should do it. Obviously,
Well,
Texans are going to do it this year. Who else?
Commanders.
The Raiders obviously have to do it. Commanders should do it for sure. There's a lot of teams.
There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks.
The Rams,
top 10.
Rams, you got to start thinking about replacing Stafford.
Yeah.
Sure. Green Bay, got to replace
quarterback. You got Jordan Love.
Oh yeah, that's who I want. Give me Jordan Love. Atlanta has to replace because Desmond Reader is not the guy.
The NFC South has to replace all the quarterbacks.
And New Orleans has to replace, right?
Carolina
has to replace. So yeah, you've got at least 10 teams out there that have to replace.
And that's why when you were saying, can you really get a first round pick for Carr? Look at all these teams that need quarterbacks. Right. It's going to drive the price up.
And that's why can I not get a first round and a third round for Fields?
Yeah. I don't know about top 10 though.
Yeah. But how many quarterbacks you have out there that have one of the best running quarterbacks you've ever seen? He can throw the ball. He just has not had the time, right? You put a line around him. So, and I don't know what you can get for Fields. And I personally don't believe trading Fields is the best decision. I would rather see Fields stay in Chicago, to be honest with you. But it's not outside the realm to say, let's keep our first round, go with Stroud or Young, and get what we can for Fields, which might be
the problem I don't like
first.
with that at all is they need draft capital.
Right.
Because they traded their the 33rd pick overall for Chase Claypool.
Stupidest trade
14
ever.
Catches. They traded away.
They have him for a year, though, so they have him for next year.
They traded away Roquan Smith, who's now like first team All Pro.
Right. Well, but he's always been first team All Pro. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I actually think this is going to be one of the best trading, quarterback swap, off seasons that we're going to see in a long time.
I think we should.
Wes is all about the multi-team trade.
We need to go to the draft. Let's go to fucking Kansas City. Just go to the draft. I want to go.
Well, they got good barbecues.
Right. Oh, great barbecues in Kansas City. I'm more excited to see all the trades and the free agent stuff that's going to happen. That's going to be great.
But if you look at the top 10, even Indianapolis at 4, I mean, tell me they're not in play. I mean, they could, they need a quarterback bad.
And unfortunately, that's where Carr is going.
You think
that's where quarterbacks go to die. Yeah. Indianapolis.
Well, the most obvious thing is the Colts are at 4. So that's better trade up because the Bears don't want to go too far down.
Right.
They want Anderson or Jalen Carter.
Yeah. No, Carter, I think. I'd take Carter personally.
Well, I'm just saying if they go to 4, they might
whoever they have the only chance of Anderson, right? Because I think Carter goes 3, in my opinion.
Right.
I think you're silly if you don't take Carter number one defense.
Yeah. He should be the number one pick, really.
Maybe the Bears just like say, screw it. Let's just take Carter, number one. That would not surprise me.
Jalen Carter or over anything else, right?
Right. That's it. It's like a draft day, right?
Yeah.
The movie.
The
Kevin
most
Costner.
unreal. That movie's fun to watch, but then I like want to punch something when I'm like, there's no way you could get 3 first round. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I would not be surprised if the Bears kept their number one pick and drafted Jalen Carter. Would not be surprised.
It's not
the GM should be fired for that, though.
I know, because you get so much for that pick because of the necessity. Because what it comes down to is what's the necessity in the league, right? There's so many teams that need quarterback and want that young
you could get like 4 picks, 5 picks.
Well, and here's my thing is you can't fall in love with a player.
Right.
Because if you're the Bears,
you get hurt.
Well, if you're the Bears, you need 6 or 7 player starters, right?
6 or 7
or more.
Yeah, I think you need like 12 or 13 to be honest with you.
And then, so like one Jalen Carter is not gonna transform.
But that's what I'm saying. The Bears are that type of drafting team, though, that they do that stupid stuff.
Yeah, at least they would draft Jalen Carter, where the Raiders would draft like the 3rd or 4th best defensive end that should go 20-something.
Right.
4th overall.
Because they saw something in him.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun to watch. So let's get into our playoff picks. Man, that was... It's crazy because there's so much stuff happening, but...
Well, and that's the thing, too, is like we look at the draft boards now, everything can change.
It's going to change so much, Wait till all the trades start happening, and it's going to be crazy. So here we go. Wild card weekend. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is awesome. 3 days of NFL playoffs. Starting with Saturday morning, Seattle at San Francisco. Wes, why don't you lead us off?
I'm picking that San Francisco 49ers team because they're pretty good. Like, they should take care of business there. But I'm not going to say Seattle's not going to make a good game, because I think they're going to throw everything at Purdy defensively, Right. But still, you got Deebo Samuel, you got Christian McCaffrey. You should be okay.
You got George Kittle.
You got Kittle.
You got Brandon Ayuk. You got
I think
isn't Elijah
Mitchell
too? Mitchell's playing too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't even have to go that far. I'm just saying that if you're that scared about because Seattle, their secondary is good, and they do D up, and they're gonna try to trick Purdy, but it's okay because you have Christian McCaffrey, you have Deebo Samuel, pitch and play.
Purdy's number 1 in all quarterback statistics in the last 4 weeks.
It's called the playoffs,
Mr. Irrelevant.
Oh yeah.
So Seattle, or you got San Francisco by what?
I got them by 9.
What do you think, Derek?
So it's super difficult to beat a team 3 times in a season, right?
Right.
But the 49ers will do it.
Gonna do it.
Their defense is just way too good. Seahawks defense is not that good against the run. So it's going to be a lot of CMC, Elijah Mitchell, Deebo.
Right.
The spread is 9.5. I got them covering. I say they win by 10.
Yeah, I actually also have them by 10 because it's not in Seattle. If it was in Seattle, I think they'd have a chance. Not that I still think they would win the game. I just think they would be in the game. I think a healthy San Francisco is a dangerous team, even with Purdy at quarterback, which I'm still not sold on. So I also got San Francisco by 10. I think you're going to see a lot of CMC, and George Kittle is going to have a big game too. So 49ers by 10. Here's an interesting game, Derek. Chargers at Jacksonville.
I was going back and forth on this one, back and forth. The Jags beat the Chargers in LA.
Badly.
Yeah.
Like dominated them.
If you look at it on paper, the Chargers should win big. They have the better team. But not so fast because they have the worst coach in the playoffs.
They really
who's
do.
a complete moron and idiot who's playing as starters in a game that doesn't even matter. And now you don't have Mike Williams, maybe. Good job.
And you still lose the game. Like, not only did you play your starters, but you lost.
I know. Thank you, Denver, for helping me out on that one. So the Jags are underdogs at home, but I got them winning by 3.
The Jags.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's just because Brandon Staley's so stupid that he's going to cost him the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that almost makes me second guess my pick. But outside of the bad coaching, I think Keenan Allen comes to play here. He's getting an age where he needs to see something happen. I think Keenan Allen has a huge game and helps the Chargers to the win here. This is the one time where you say a coach doesn't help. You literally, like, the players take over here. Austin Eckler has a good game. Keenan Allen has a huge game, and Chargers win by 7.
Yeah. I think Trevor Lawrence has had a great year.
And yes, it's really good year.
He's really proven himself.
From bust to high mediocre.
I mean, but if I'm going to pick between him and Justin Herbert, I'm going to pick Justin Herbert because I think Justin Herbert's going to throw down this game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the Chargers just because they're healthy. The whole year they've been banged up.
Yeah.
I think they're healthy now. I think they'll take care of business against Jacksonville, even though Jacksonville had a great year. And,
I mean, did they at 9-8?
Cool. They won their
It's better than having the number 1 pick again, right?
I mean, better than everybody else in that stupid division.
Right. No, yeah, they've improved tons, and I think the Jacksonville has the much better coach. He's a great coach.
Oh yeah. Coach. Well, that's the trust me. Today, all I thought about was like, am I really gonna pick against him? But the only reason
they're at home too. That was the other issue.
The only reason I'm going to is because Justin Herbert.
Right.
Because I think they'll get it done. So I'm picking the Chargers by 3.
I agree. I mean, it wasn't an easy game to pick. I definitely think it could go either way. Jacksonville has a couple advantages, better coach, and they're at home. I think Chargers are still talented overall more. But it doesn't mean Jacksonville can't win the game, right? Because they beat them once. So we'll see what happens. I think this is going to be one of the more fun games to watch as well. I think it's going to be a great game to watch.
And, the importance of maybe not having Mike Williams.
Yeah, so dumb. That's why I said, guy, you need to get fired just for that.
But I don't want him to get fired.
Yeah, because it helps you out.
Because then they'll go and hire Sean Payton.
Right.
No, he needs to go to Denver. Denver needs to hire him.
No, I'm hearing Harbaugh's going to Denver.
Oh, jeez. No, Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
then you'll have Andy Reid, Harbaugh, and Peyton and McDaniels.
Harbaugh goes to Indianapolis.
No, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Harbaugh goes to
Because
Indianapolis.
that's just easy. You dominate that division.
Yeah. Let's see. So Miami at Buffalo. You know, if Tua's playing, I think it'd be a different game, but I just don't think Miami has a chance here. I mean, I think Buffalo starts slow, but has a good strong finish and wins by 13. So I'm taking Buffalo here. What do you got, Wes?
Yeah. I mean, Skylar Thompson doesn't scream, you know. This isn't a Frank
good
Wright.
quarterback.
It's not Frank Wright here. This is not fucking Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson. I watched him last week. I'm like, every time he comes off the field, he hangs his head. I go, you've only played in the fucking league for like 2 weeks. Why are you hanging your head? Now, Baker Mayfield, I understand. He sucks. You can hang your head all you want. But he's never really played. It's like, why, Yeah, the Bills are going to win this game. I mean, the Bills, they're going to win by 20 points. I say 20.
Wow.
They're going to beat up on the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think this is an easy one. The spread's 13.5. I got them winning by 14.
The spread's 13.5.
Yeah.
Oh, they changed that. When they said Tua is not going to play, they're like,
Yeah. Or Brissett, right? So we're going with the third string quarterback.
Right.
And now that he's at home now, I think the Bills will this is win it all for Hamlin, right?
Right. Which might be the whole playoffs for them.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole other thing too, is like,
although they didn't look great last week.
Right. But I think more now that they know that he's on the road to recovery and stuff. I think they can.
Yeah, because he left the hospital. He's home now. Yeah.
Oh, off the subject, but did you see about Peyton Hillis? You remember Peyton Hillis, right?
Yeah.
The only white running back to be on the cover of Madden. He was in critical condition in intensive care. Because
when his kids were drowning, and he saved his kids from drowning, and he drowned. Yeah, I did see that.
But he's making a full recovery too.
Good, yeah. I mean, but that's what a dad does, right?
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome.
You drown before your kid drowns,
right?
Like that's just the way it goes. But yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that was awesome. Let's see. Here we go. I think it may be game of the week. Giants at Minnesota.
Ooh.
Wes, what do you got?
No, you're right. This is a tough game because the Giants are tough. They're a tough football team. Like they're gonna come in and people are like, oh yeah, the Vikings. Like they're gonna come in. Yeah, they're gonna have something to prove. But you know what? I'm gonna stick with the Vikings because they're just loaded. And even though it's Kirk Cousins, like honestly, we all have more confidence playing the NFL than Kirk Cousins. But you have those weapons at your disposal. I think.
Wait, when's the game though?
It's at 1:30. I just checked. It's not a night game.
It's not prime time. Okay.
Is that real?
It's prime time. You can't.
It's a thing.
You're
right. It's a thing.
Well, technically, it's almost 5:00 there,
Eastern.
right?
Eastern, yeah.
It's like.
Where's Minnesota Central?
Oh, on one side I got Jefferson. Oh, I got Hawkinson's at my tight end. Oh,
yeah.
I have. I mean,
Dalvin Cook. You got a lot of weapons.
Dalvin Cook is probably the greatest receiving.
No, LaDainian Tomlinson. Come on, let's.
No. Not, dude. Just watch the game they came back. That he catches a ball and he goes 80 yards.
He's not even
He's
the
like
best
a
this
receiver.
year. It's Austin
Yeah.
Eckler.
Right.
No.
I mean,
forgetting about Roger Craig.
Roger
Thurman
Craig,
Thomas?
actually.
No,
Yeah,
I'm right, baby. But of course, they're good at catching out of the backfield. This dude catches the ball and he's gone for 90 yards.
Yeah, he's talking
And
about
that's
yards
the
after
difference.
catch.
That's the difference.
CMC.
What I'm saying is he catches the ball, he's gone for 90 yards.
I got
CMC's
LT.
great for
I got
30
Roger
yards.
Craig. Wait, I got LT. I got Roger Craig. I got
Thurman Thomas.
Thurman Thomas.
Thurman
Above
Thomas is he's money.
Dalvin Cook. Yeah,
30.
Dalvin Cook. You could convince me top 5. You might be able to convince me top 5, but you're not going to convince me.
I'm picking the Vikings.
I mean, 5. Obviously, because Dalvin Cook's the best receiver out of the backfield ever.
Well, if he's smart, just throw it to him.
All right. And I think he doesn't check down enough. I think that's one of Cousins' problems. He's like, I'm gonna throw this football over the mountain.
I'm like, Uncle Rico. Put my Uncle Rico in.
All right, Derek, what do you got?
That's the problem, though. Kirk Cousins doesn't throw it to Dalvin Cook enough. And Brian Daboll, who I think is coach of the year,
he's going to.
I think he might be.
G-Man. I mean, the Vikings beat him by 3 points on like a prayer field goal, right?
Right.
The Giants have no business. The Vikings are the more talented team. But they still have Daniel Jones, who's playing great. Steve Slayton has come out of nowhere, is playing great as a receiver. Saquon Barkley, Kayvon Thibodeau.
Oh, Thibodeau's a badass.
That's coming around.
Their other receiver is playing better, even. What's his name? Charles, or what's the guy? That other guy.
I think Thibodeau.
They've had another really good receiver playing well.
That's like, and I look at history, and we always pick the home team. We always pick the favorites in the playoffs. But we got the Vikings they have a negative point differential. They got to lose sometime. So I'm picking this week.
All right.
I got the Giants by 3.
That's not a bad pick.
Oh, man.
It's a tough pick.
Wes, didn't you say you had the Giants before? Like, I swear we just talked about this and you had the Giants.
But I can't.
And now you got the Vikings?
You know why? Because it's the same reason I'm going to pick the fucking Cowboys. Because everyone expects them to lose.
Spoiler alert, Wes is picking the Cowboys.
I don't want to.
Look, I'm going to go with the Vikings. And the reason I'm going to go with the Vikings is because it's at Minnesota, which means they're in a dome. And the only way the Vikings can win is because they have more speed and they have more talent. And the dome helps them in that.
But if the Giants are playing another team, I pick the Giants.
Yeah.
It's just
and if they're playing at home, if they're playing at home and they were going to control the ball and they were going to run the ball.
Because I really want to pick the Giants, but that's a tough one.
You pick them over the 49ers?
So I'm gonna take the Vikings. Even though I think the Giants can win this game.
He doesn't want to take it. He's like, I don't want to take him.
I mean, I don't. I'm going to take the Vikings. I'm going to take the Vikings by a touchdown.
We'll just let Derek win this one.
Yeah. I'm taking the Vikings.
Because this could go either way. It's that close.
I really think that it can go either way, which is the issue.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we have 3 games that can go either way and 3 games that aren't.
They really can.
They're just the way it's going to go.
The Saturday game.
It'll probably be the opposite, right? So the games we think that are going to go the one way will lose.
How should you imagine the Ravens, Dolphins, and like Seahawks all winning?
No,
the Ravens are fucking.
I actually cannot imagine it.
The Chiefs will be like.
No, the Ravens are not beating the freaking.
Well, here we go.
That's
Derek.
one game.
And Derek, what do you got? Baltimore at Cincinnati.
Well, I picked the Ravens to be the number 2 seed at the beginning of the season. But that was with Lamar Jackson. They are
Right.
horrible without him. So the Bengals, I got the Bengals winning by 14. I don't think it's close at all.
I think at home, Bengals are hot still. Burrow is ready to go back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I don't know, but they blow them out. So 14 is a little hefty for me. I'm going 10.
Yeah. I think they win, but yeah, I agree with you, Steve, to a certain extent. I think it's gonna be closer than people think. I say 7. You know.
And then the game of the week. Game of the week.
Really hard.
And so this is me to start here, which is the problem because I have not picked my winner yet.
Oh, dude.
Dallas at Tampa Bay.
Well, we know Wes is picking Dallas.
I'm picking Dallas, dead.
Let's
go Cowboys!
Here's the problem.
One time in my life, I'm picking fucking Cowboys.
It's at Tampa Bay, right? So they're at home. It's Tom Brady. And then it's Dallas, who sucks in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But then Dallas is so much more talented, or it has a better record, better players. I'm picking Tampa Bay. I'm doing it. Tampa Bay by a field goal.
Why do you have to do that, Steve?
I'm doing it. Tampa Bay by a field goal.
Oh, shit. I already know it.
I didn't even know, but I'm picking Tampa Bay by a field goal.
You know what? I had to consult my father because he's watched the Cowboys longer than I have for years. I said, tell me about the Cowboys tradition. Tell me, do they have, let's delve into Cowboy pride. And you know what?
Pride has been like 30 years ago now.
Yeah, it's not been good lately.
But they've been beating it. Everyone thinks that, Brady's gonna beat them, and I'm like, I want to say that he's going to, but I honestly think the Cowboys are going to win the game.
Yeah, and Micah Parsons,
it's not going to be by a lot.
Micah Parsons is super focused because he didn't make All Pro.
Yeah,
and he's like, I don't care about that. I'm focused on the playoffs.
I think
he's going to rush the quarterback.
I think I'm not even talking about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott can go
who's
off
trash.
I'm talking about the rest of the team.
Yeah,
because I think they've heard the noise. I think everyone expects Tampa Bay to win.
Oh, man,
and
everybody expects Tampa Bay to win.
Dallas is favored.
Yeah, Dallas is favored. What are you talking about?
So, with my pick, I was hearing
Cowboys by what, Wes?
4.
All right.
Close.
So I heard Wes talking about how talented the Cowboys are and everything, and Dak Prescott. Okay, who matters? Well, it matters because he has the most interceptions in the NFL this year, and he missed a bunch of games.
Right, like 6
games.
No. Right?
Back up. He has the most interceptions in the NFL from a starting quarterback. Who has the most? The Texans quarterback.
Davis
Mills. And Dak Prescott played 5 less games. 5 less games. And Davis Mills and him have the same amount of interceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not good for Dak Prescott.
It's not good.
And then I sent you we showed you the thing how Tony Pollard has been playing lights out, but Ezekiel Elliott hasn't. Right. And that's where it comes down to is they keep giving Zeke the ball.
Right.
And I don't, you know what? It's years. I'm being humble pie. But can you really go against Brady?
Oh,
right.
Can you? How many
yards
hard. Did
4,700 yards passing
for this year?
Yeah.
4,700 yards.
He's got Godwin. He's got Mike Evans. He's got Julio Jones.
They're healthy for the first time in a long
Yes.
time.
Is Julio Jones healthy?
Yeah.
Yep.
They got Fournette.
Yeah, and White. So they
Yeah.
got White and Tampa Bay has not been healthy all year, which no excuses, but when you're that injured the whole year, it's tough.
So I got, and it's, you know what? I was like Tampa Bay almost made it to the championship game last year when we thought they shouldn't have.
Oh, they should have beat the Rams.
One play.
They blew
PK
that.
card Cooper Cup, man.
Right. Zero cup. You're gonna do a cover 0 on Cooper Cup the last play of the game.
Well, this is where the Cowboys finally get what they want, and they lose, and they fire McCarthy, and they go for Sean Payton. Hopefully, he goes there instead of the Chargers or the Broncos.
He might go there.
But
they got a lot of talent.
I got the Bucks by 3. It's at home.
Wow.
I just can't.
I'm the only person that's picking the Cowboys.
Yep.
I can already.
They looked horrible against like the Commanders.
The Commanders
dominated them. Who was Washington's starting quarterback? What was his name?
Oh, it was the rookie. It was Sam Howell.
Yeah.
Who's Sam?
He's North Carolina.
What did they lose by? Like 20?
They lost by 20.
To Sam Howell.
And it was a game that mattered for them.
They needed to win. Yeah.
Because they didn't know about the Eagle, you know what I mean?
And Commanders didn't need to win.
Yeah.
That's tough, It's tough to think that a team that has that good of a record, that many stars on their team, going against an 8-9 team
with a rookie quarterback playing his first game ever.
But,
right.
You know what's funny? Everybody knows. Everybody, you watch ESPN, they're like, Cowboys should win this game, but there's this guy named Tom Brady.
Yeah.
On the other side. And I don't care if he's 45 or not. He's like the old dude.
First
he's
of all,
like the gunslinger, like in the movie.
Future Raider Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just take a break from the playoffs and how good these teams are, and let's just admire the fact that 45-year-old Tom Brady is a starting quarterback in the NFL. Our age,
still playing football.
Yeah, I get up in the middle of the night to take a piss, and this dude is throwing for 4,700 yards.
Well, he doesn't drink any alcohol, and he,
of course he does.
His vice is avocado ice cream.
Right. But I'm just saying, let's just take a minute to think about Tom Brady. Even though I don't necessarily like him, but the dude's the GOAT.
That's why I feel bad picking the Cowboys, but I gotta do it.
Well, that's the thing,
you guys can pick. You guys can pick them. You guys are probably gonna win.
I hated Brady when he was with the Patriots, but I've come to like him a lot, especially after they won the Super Bowl in Tampa, and he was trashed. And he was like throwing the Super Bowl trophy.
Who throws the Super Bowl trophy?
Who fucking throws the Super Bowl trophy?
And he needs, but you know what? He needs like Blaine Gabbert and stuff to like hold him as he walks.
Do you think Kirk Cousins would have done that?
No.
He'd be like, I don't do it.
So let's talk about this. So we got our picks. So let's see. Wes has got the opposite there. Minnesota.
What's the next?
Who picked the Giants in the Minnesota?
I did.
Yeah, so Derek. So that's a swing. So Derek, you got an opposite swing.
I think Steve, you already won all the games. So.
I might.
Good.
The Jags and Chargers though. Derek took the. So we got
Let's just remember, Wes, who won the regular season here.
Wait a minute. Derek won.
Yeah.
That's crazy, Derek.
So as we wrap up here, though, what we forgot to talk about, we forgot to talk about our preseason picks.
That was bad.
Do you guys have your preseason picks?
I think I just went against my preseason pick. I
Well,
picked
who is
Buffalo.
make the playoffs? So I have Buffalo and Tampa. They both made it.
Oh, gosh.
I got Cincy, the Chargers, the Eagles, the Ravens, the 49ers.
But
You
it's
have more
not
than
our
us.
it's not our fault they didn't listen to us.
Buffalo, Tampa, Cincy, Chargers, Eagles, Ravens, San Francisco, Vikings, Cowboys. So I got 9.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I got, let's see, Eagles.
That's 9 out of
Niners.
14.
I don't know. No, I didn't have Niners because of Trey Lance. See, it's like,
That's Trey Lance screwed everything up.
Yeah, I had the freaking Raiders.
you know,
Never picking the Raiders again.
so I had the Chargers, Eagles, Bills, Ravens, Bengals, Bucks, Vikings.
Yeah.
So how many did you have?
I picked Arizona. Like
one,
I lost a lot of points
two,
there.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So you had 7. Wes, how many did you have?
I don't even remember that.
So for those of you guys listening, watching, I know you're probably not even listening anymore, but if you go back to our original podcast where we did our playoff predictions, 9 out of 14, that's not bad.
No.
Wow.
And 7 out of 14, 50%. Green Bay should have made it, right? Tennessee could have made it.
Green. You know what's ridiculous?
So
about
you know
Green Bay?
what killed me was the Rams, the Raiders, and Denver. I picked Denver. Why did I pick Denver?
You picked Denver?
Yeah. I think you picked them as like the last seed, right?
Last seed, yeah.
Or did you pick the Chiefs? Or did you not pick the Chiefs?
I didn't pick the. I switched the Chiefs for Denver at the last minute.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I think we all left the Chiefs out, so that shows how much we are.
We're
smart.
fucking idiots. Yeah, we did well there. Like, Jesus.
No, I mean,
so we do have that podcast for people, where we picked that, but 9 out of 14, I don't think it's bad. I think that's good, right?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're good.
You're
Any final thoughts here as we wrap up?
Well, it's gonna be hopefully it's gonna be as good as last year. I want to see some good games. Last year we had so many good games.
Yeah, man.
This year it kind of looks like we might have some not so good games.
Right. But you don't know. Like, just because we think that they're gonna go that way. Although last year, and we have podcasts, so people can go back to last year's podcast. The wild card, we were pretty spot on. Like, I think we only missed like 4 games between the 3 of us. Yeah, because I only missed 1. I think Derek missed 2, or maybe 1, and what?
I missed the Raiders. So I know that one.
And I picked the Raiders. I picked Cincinnati in that one.
Yeah.
So
I can't even. It's hard to even remember who the teams were last year.
Right.
That was
But you're right. I think if the playoffs are half as good as they were last year, it's going to be a good playoff season.
It's going to be a really fun week.
So my feeling is that next week will be the best week of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I think you eliminate some of the teams that are not so good, and then you get to where there's a balance of there's no like top teams. Like, I think next week any team could win.
Well, but you're probably gonna have next week. You're probably gonna have Buffalo against Cincinnati.
Right.
Yeah.
And
and then what do you get? KC against the Chargers, right? I mean, that's a good game.
I'll tell you this: if I'm KC, I don't want to play the Chargers.
No,
because they're super talented.
And they're going to be lucky because they'll be playing the Jags.
Because they don't matter. They're playing the Jags.
But here's the thing. I mean, let's just say they beat the Jags. Dude, fucking Chargers, Austin Eckler. I mean, they're just loaded.
They are loaded.
And I still think Kansas City misses Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Even though Mahomes had a great year.
Yeah, even though stats don't say it.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens in the playoff because that's all that matters in the freaking land.
I kind of look, and if you look at it, the NFC is still pretty weak.
Right.
Yeah.
I think whoever comes out in the AFC wins the Super Bowl.
Because like if you could have
you play the 49ers,
Eagles, Cowboys, or Bucks, right?
Right. I think the 49ers are the only NFC team, to me, that has a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yep. I do.
Because of defense.
We'll see about the Eagles.
Yeah.
Wow. The Eagles are
sold. I'm not sold on their defense, though. I'm not. Because they play the NFC teams.
The Eagles are solid on both sides of the ball. But
they're solid.
If I'm in the Super Bowl, if I'm the Bills in the Super Bowl, I'd much rather play the Eagles
than the 49ers. Oh, absolutely. I agree.
So would you rather play Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts?
But I would rather not
either
play their defense.
They're both inexperienced in playoff football.
Well, because when you think about it, you got with San Francisco, you got CMC, you got
they're loaded.
George Kittle, you got
Deebo Samuel.
Okay, well you've got Devontae Smith, you've got AJ Brown, you got Dallas Goedert, you've got Miles Sanders. That's
right,
but we're talking.
That's what I'm saying. Even if those are comparable, whose defense is better?
Defense.
Phillies, the Eagles line, offensive line is better. Also,
wow.
Right. Well, but you're still talking offense, though, right?
You're right, Derek. They're a more well-rounded team. They are. The Eagles are the well-rounded team. But a team like the Buffalo Bills, they can still navigate their way through the Eagles. I don't think they can navigate their way through the 49ers.
Well, we saw what happened to when they played the Raiders and Jarrett Stidham, right?
Well, that's a regular season.
Yeah, but that shows you they have weaknesses.
Yeah,
of course they do.
The 85 Bears would never let that happen, right?
What are you talking about? Damn Marino, man!
They did one game.
Monday Night Football.
How many points?
What are you talking about?
How many points did they give up?
Right, like 16,
38.
Oh, did they?
Lost 38-24 to the Dolphins.
Okay, what about the Ravens?
I remember that game.
Ray Lewis, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, we're talking about different. That's a legit. That's like we're talking about the best defense of all.
We're talking the 49ers are winning because of their defense.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the only defenses that win if you're going to go in with Brock Purdy, because if you look at the past, they went in with Colin Kaepernick and they went in with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
They lost both those games. Defenses were just as good.
Isn't it funny that Brock Purdy, look at his record. Yeah. They say that a rookie quarterback has not had this good of a record.
He's number one in every stat in the last 4 weeks.
1950. He is
passer rating, touchdowns.
Isn't that crazy?
Look at his stats. He's number one in the last 4 weeks. He's number one in passing yards, touchdowns, passer rating, like all of them.
It's kind of crazy.
But like we would say, if it's the Chiefs, the Bills, or the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
If they're in the Super Bowl, they got to win, right?
Right.
No matter who comes out of the NFC.
Yeah. You're right. I mean,
But the bottom line is, I'm not saying that the 49ers are better than the Eagles or not. What I'm saying is that if I'm an AFC team, I would rather play anybody but the 49ers.
True.
If that's my choice.
I would rather play the Eagles than the 49ers.
Right.
What about the Buccaneers?
I don't think you want to play the Buccaneers ever.
I don't think so either. But
I just don't.
You imagine what ESPN and stuff is going to do if Tom Brady goes on a run.
I've already told you my Buccaneers story about what Brady did. What Brady did at the fucking match with Josh Allen. He's like, hey, buddy. He's like, toughen up, because I'm telling you right now, you're probably gonna have to play me in the Super Bowl.
Think about
you
this.
Better have some thicker skin than this.
If the
You never know.
beat
It
the
could
Cowboys,
be Buffalo and Tampa Bay.
the Bucks beat the Cowboys, you know what might happen? Tom Brady might get on that phone and be like, "Hey Gronk, you just want to play 3 weeks?"
Yeah, you want to come in, just play for the
you
rest
know
of the
what?
playoffs?
Tell me Gronk wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
So
Just, you don't have to practice, just come and play games.
Here's the issue with the Bucks, right? They, talent-wise, they have so much talent on both sides of the ball. On the defense, too. When you talk about Jamel Dean, talking about Devin White, talking about these guys.
Vontae David.
Yeah, this is
Shaq Barrett.
An incredibly talented defense. And when they get excited, when they're ready to play, you don't want that defense coming up being like, oh, look, Tom's taking off. We got to keep up with him.
Right.
Like, you don't want that, right? And if they beat Dallas, which I don't know that they will, I think that's going to be
that's going to be a close one.
I think that's the pendulum game, right? If Tampa wins that game, look out.
It is.
You don't want to play them. If they beat that game, you don't want to play them
at all, because they're gonna have so much confidence if they beat Dallas,
right,
that they could make it all the way to the Super Bowl,
right.
Well,
but like I said, Tom's like, hey, buddy, you know what? You might have to play me in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and you never know. It could be Buffalo and Tampa Bay.
So he's assuming Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl.
I think a lot of people are assuming that they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
I picked Buffalo at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But you can't go against the Bengals or the
Bengals
Chiefs
look
or
good.
The
Bengals are good, but
so do you guys remember what your picks were? So my pick was Buffalo, Tampa Bay. So I picked Buffalo, Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl.
I think I picked, mine is already done. I think it was I think it was Buffalo and the Rams.
Buffalo and the Rams, yeah.
I picked Tampa Bay too, just because of that. I picked Buffalo and Tampa Bay.
So at least I'm still in the
Whoa, Wes, you didn't pick the Bengals?
No, I picked Buffalo and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I think we all picked Buffalo. I thought we all picked Buffalo.
I did. Even though
I might have to go back and watch that podcast.
No. And there's a reason I picked it, because I watched the way Tom interacted with Josh. And he's like,
Josh is a different guy now, though.
Josh,
yeah,
Josh, you're a pretty nice guy. You need to be a little more assertive. And he pushes buttons.
He's now
but
been
Josh is the beast, dude.
He's been through the DeMar Hamlin situation, so he's
Josh watched a teammate die on the field.
Right, yeah, I did.
It's a whole new experience.
And you know what? You know what is really hard about that is just look at Josh's face the whole time. It's like you're like, and he didn't know what to do. He's like, you had other teammates that are crying. He's like, oh fuck, dude. I was like, yeah, I get it, dude. Like, how do you react to that?
Well, they're all standing around as the guy was getting CPR done for 8 minutes.
His heart stopped.
But here's the question I have, though. As hot as Cincinnati is right now, do they not look like the Super Bowl?
They do. I think they don't.
I think they look like the favorite in the AFC.
Tell me.
Yeah, but they got to go to Buffalo if they both win.
Right, but
that's the problem. Is if they didn't have to go to Buffalo and Kansas City, I would totally. If I'm gonna rule with anybody, I'm gonna rule with Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow is bad.
Getting some neck hair here.
Look at your neck.
But you know,
there you go.
Josh Allen is much more talented.
Yeah,
I mean,
than Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah, dude.
No.
Yeah, he is, dude. Josh Allen
no
runs over everybody.
The ability to run doesn't make you a better quarterback.
No, he's a talent.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
what I'm saying is Josh Allen is our modern day John Elway.
No. So here's the problem I have Here's the problem I have Josh Allen. He has all the talent, top physical attributes in the world, but Joe Burrow has the swagger, he has the confidence, and he's like, I don't care who you are, what you are. When I'm gonna put it on the field, I can beat you. Anybody, anywhere.
We all know that.
The whole narrative is because Burrow went in and beat the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Josh Allen did too. It's not his fault. His defense was completely stupid.
It's an unfair comparison because
but that's not what I'm
saying.
Because
Joe Burrow's like, he's a little like Tom Brady. He has a swagger, but it's a different type. We're talking about a different type of player.
Here's what I'm saying. When Joe Burrow gets confidence and he gets going, I think he's the best quarterback in the NFC.
You're right.
When he gets going, like when he's having bad games, when he's going, he's a terrible quarterback, but he's a confidence quarterback. When he's on a roll, he's better than he's as good as it can get.
Yeah,
I don't know. We're all forgetting one guy that's going to be sitting at home the first week.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
When has he had a bad? He's
never.
Burrow threw 5 interceptions against Steelers. I mean, Mahomes barely throws an interception.
Yeah.
Once it becomes like December, the dude is like unstoppable.
Until he plays Tom Brady.
We're basically saying this is going to be a great playoff.
Right.
These guys going up against each other. Like, I can't predict like who's going to beat who because it's going to be that cool to watch those guys go up against each other.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun playoffs to watch.
Now watch it be messed up. The Bills or Bengals lose, and so we don't get that.
It's going to be Jacksonville in the Super Bowl. Watch them be Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, Seattle.
It's going to be Jacksonville against the Eagles. Because we have to have a storyline.
No, I saw somebody say Seattle, Jacksonville on a post, and I was like,
no.
You're just saying that because if it happens and you're like, see, I told you,
you know how unbearable it would be living in this area if the Seahawks made the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh, so terrible. But
Pete Carroll, man. Pete Carroll.
They got the offense to do it. But I just don't think they can.
No, the best would be the Jaguars against the Giants.
Right.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Well, and, Saquon, I'll tell you, like he can take over a game. Like if they use him right, you're in trouble. So, all right, well, man, all right, let's wrap it up. Jeez, good stuff. I can't wait to see the outcome here. Maybe we can be the same that we were in last year's playoffs. See how good we can do. Overall, if you look at it, even Wes, like, you're still at a 50-60% win percentage, 60% win percentage. And Derek and I are about 65-70% win percentage.
And I mean, with West too, is like if he didn't have to pick all those
right at the last week, he would have had a higher percentage. But still, like you think about that, like how good is that against like what we've seen in these pro picks? So if you're watching us, obviously we're picking well, but I think people watching the playoffs, I think we're gonna do well again. Even though we got some swing games.
Yep.
You know what? It's just gonna be a fun weekend to watch. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great playoffs.
Yeah. So. If it wasn't Holly's birthday.
What? When?
We'd go watching.
What are you guys doing? You going to Vegas?
Yeah. No. She's not a Vegas girl. It's Saturday all day. We're doing birthday stuff.
Terrific Lady Day.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right, guys, good stuff. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thanks for listening to us. We'll catch you guys next time.
Okay.